Hey guys, welcome back to episode 192 of 5 Drinks Through Midnight, the show where we bring the questions, guests bring the drinks, we try to wrap up before midnight. Today we are headed up to Harlem to meet up with Ektoras Binikos, co-founder of Bitter Monk, Sugar Monk, and Ektoras Spirits. Before we get started, like and subscribe, hit the bells, the whistles, leave a comment if you like what we're doing. It really helps us out. Let's get started. Doing 5 drinks at midnight, 5 drinks, 5 questions, midnight, whatever comes first. Thank you so much for having us at Sugar Monk. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you again. I'm so glad that this worked out, and again, we're huge fans. So thank you so much. It's a true honor. I guess question one: what are we drinking first?
Of course. So our first drink is a Garibaldi.
Okay.
But instead of Campari, we're using our very own Amaro, one of the Amari anyway, the Palatine.
Okay.
So you have notes of rhubarb, mint and angelica, tizian, etc. So it's refreshing. It's fairly light, and obviously the two ingredients: the Amaro and the fluffy orange juice, frothy orange juice, and that's it. So it's yours, Tim.
Fuck yeah, awesome. Cheers! Oh yeah.
Refreshing.
That fucking hits the spot on a day like today. It's hot as balls in New York.
I know, it's pretty hot today. It's just crazy hot. So I love Garibaldis, yeah.
I would never have thought orange and rhubarb, but like that.
Yeah,
it really works really well.
It does, yeah. The rhubarb comes through nicely.
Yeah.
As smoky rhubarb from China, the Amaro. So obviously you have the bitter notes like you get from Campari, but it's a little bit, more whimsical, I suppose.
Okay.
It's a little bit, has a lot of playful notes.
Yeah.
Fun.
Absolutely.
Theirs is the same, like the frothy orange juice. It's a fun aperitivo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
So,
alright, well, question one, it's always an origin story.
yes.
How'd you get started in the hospitality business, and then also what made you want to jump into the spirits business?
I suppose it's all related in terms of my history. It's all like, came to a full cycle to some degree. And I will tell you why. I come from the hospitality, I have hospitality background in terms of my parents. They had several businesses: a cafe, pizzeria, a bakery. There are a lot of business people in the island of Icaria in Greece that I was born and come from. It's an island on the North Aegean, very close to Turkey, after Mykonos, very close to Mykonos.
Okay.
So my father had this cafe and also the pizzeria, and we had these taras that, it was a major success. They had a lot of success with the businesses, and the place was packed every night. The island is very, very windy, so I was like 7, 8 years old, at that time, and things would fly all over, from the wind at night, like plates, napkins, straws, etc. And so my first job was to go in the morning, at 7 in the morning, and go underneath the property, the neighbor's property, and collect the garbage. A little basket, and I would go and I would spend like 2 hours between 7 and 9. And I would collect the debris from the night before.
Okay.
And then in the afternoon, I would be the bars boy.
Okay.
For lunch between 12 and 2.
Okay.
And I would be passing tables and helping my parents and all that. And eventually, I graduated to a waiter. Years later, and I would serve at night. Exactly. My parents also, they dabble as amateur distillers.
Okay.
We have this old farm up on mountain, surrounded by old vineyards. You know, my family, you know, it's an old family. They've been there for 300 years on the island. My Teresa was 400 years back. And we have this old compound on the mountain, and some of the buildings are in ruins now, of course, you know. But my grandparents, they fixed one of the buildings, and there's one room that was dedicated to distillation. So, besides my dad and my mom, you know, my ancestors also, they always, you know, distill.
Okay.
You know, they make things, you know.
Sure.
They make wine, of course, and they will, you know, my father will make the wine every September. So we go up there, me, my mom, my siblings sometimes, and they will press the grapes, and they will make the wine, and then my father will collect the skins of grape and put them on a terracotta pot for about 40 days to get, you know, to start the fermentation.
Sure.
And then he will make raki.
Okay.
It's his grandpa, essentially. It's
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
thing, you know, they call it raki in Greece. So my mom will take the hay-proof raki, and she will make those amazing whimsical liqueurs like mirto and wild cherry and nocino.
Okay.
And I was mesmerized by the process. My father, he was a good-looking man, and he had this goatee, and he was wearing this long apron, you know, when he was distilling.
Sure.
This bondada, he looked like an alchemist. So I was like fascinated, and it was really magical, you know. And we had to do it at night because it was like a clandestine.
Sure.
It was like very, you know, it was illegal
Yeah.
at the time. In the 70s, I was like a kid. So that's how the whole thing started. I never thought I would become a distiller or I would be involved in the hospitality business because, you know, I went to school, I went to Athens, and I went to the university there. I studied actually film direction. I've got my BA in film direction at the Film Institute there. And then I decided to come to New York, the United States, to continue with my film studies and art studies. So I came at the age of 21, 22 here. But at the same time, you know, I needed to, you know, earn some extra money. You know, I wasn't exactly a wealthy like kid from Greece, so I had to work, and I got a job as a passport restaurant. You know. And then I started like picking behind the bar, and I started like talking to the bartender because I was intrigued by the craft, you know. And the bartender invited me to be his barback.
Okay.
So I started like barbacking.
All right. Nice.
And then little by little I got very much interested on, you know, more and more, and then I decided to take a course. And I went to, and it was the time of the International Bartenders course.
Okay.
You know, I took like a month, you know, 4 weeks kind of course. So we play with, you know, we had the bottle like, let's say Campari or like, you know, I don't know, you know, beefy or gin, whatever,
Yeah.
but they had water, they had like something to simulate, you know,
Food color, yeah.
to simulate the And we started the classic recipes, but we really went by visuals. We didn't really have, you know, any sense about the flavor.
Okay.
But you know, I started like making cocktails, and I like got a sense about the mixing part, and you know how to shake and how to measure and how to do this. You know, it was a very proper school.
Okay. And this was like the 80s, early 90s?
No, that was actually late 80s.
Okay, yeah.
Late 80s, yeah.
Awesome.
And then I decided to get a job as a bartender.
Okay.
So somebody told me about looking for a bartender in this Israeli club next to Café Luxembourg on 70th Street,
Okay.
called Cosmico. And I went there, and it was this famous Israeli singer called named Arissan, and he was also the owner. And also he was half Greek, but he was, you know, he's a Greek Jew that he lived in Israel, and he made his career there. He became very famous in Israel. And he says, "So now, kid, come, I will hire you." But he says, "You're going to be on the service bar." I says, "No matter what, whatever, it's fine, it's fine." So I started working as a service bar bartender.
Okay.
And it was a crazy place. they had like belly dancers and fights and very dramatic, you know, like Israelis are very dramatic, like Greeks are, and all the
very passionate.
Mediterranean people, very passionate. So, and it was crazy run. So I did it for about 6 months.
Okay.
And you know, they locked me in a cage, so I had to basically look at my book and eventually I started like trying things. But I did okay, I suppose, you know. And then you know, another became a friend of mine told me about this proper bartending job in a nice restaurant. I was going to apply there. I said, yeah, sure. And I connected with the owner again. A Greek restaurant called Periali.
Okay.
And then I started bartending there. So, you know, I got very involved with bartending, and you know, of course, at the same time, I started like having shows. I also was, you know, very involved with the art community in New York City. I started having gallery shows, but you know, I was never really making, you know, enough money to survive. I was selling works here and there, you know, some of my drawings, some of my photographs, some of something. So I says, you know, screw that. I have to really find a way to, you know, support myself, and you know, I like bartending. I have to get more serious about it, and I decided to really go for it. And you know, that's how I am anyway. If I decide to do something, I like to give it all, you know. But you know, for me, it resonated as like really almost like an artistic merit. The whole aspect of mixing, you know, liquids and you know, creating a kind of a new thing, transmuting them into some kind of an elixir of sorts. You know, that you enjoy, and you know, and gives pleasure, but also you know, has a lot of other connotations. So, and I got very very serious about it, and I started like having some great success, and people you know. Recognize that. And then there was this famous chef that came to the restaurant named Charlie Palmer, and he owned at the time, you know, the #1 restaurant in New York City. It was like, you know, 4 stars, 3 stars in the New York Times, and it was like, you know, the top destination in New York City in the 90s. Called Oriole. It was a beautiful townhouse on 61st in Madison Park. So he says, come and work for me up there. I says, what? Yeah, come and work for me. You have something very special, you know. I said, okay. So I went up there, and he was very visionary, and he had a good sense about people that, you know, they had, you know, something that possessing special qualities in terms of passion, and, you know, and creativity and the likes. So he said to me, go to my kitchen, meet all my chefs, ask for anything you want, and start like playing with it, like playing with culinary ingredients. So I started like playing with like things that nobody did at the time, like, you know, seasonings and yuzu juice, and also with exotic spices. So then slowly I became the head bartender there, and I was there for 11 years almost.
Okay, wow.
Then I had a great run, you know. It was a fun place. I made very good money. I used to make great money actually. Then I move on to other things, but that was essentially the you know, the important steps, you know, in my early part of the days. And Oriole was really like, you know, very, very important experience.
Sure.
And then I started competing there. I met a lot of interesting people. People recognized me, and yeah, that's how essentially the whole thing started.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I guess because again with Bitter Monk, Sugar Monk, and then also your Amaro company, all has this kind of like alchemist kind of thing. Does that kind of like homage to your dad, like you said, like going back to?
Well, you know, it's amazing because I never thought that it would come to a full cycle, as I mentioned before. And then when I started bartending, and I was still making art and all that, and I always had this kind of you know, duality and double life. You know, I had a studio in Long Island City, and I would go every day. I would make art, and then I would work, at night as a bartender, and it was fun. But at the same time, as I was getting older, I realized that I need to really be serious about my life, and I like the hospitality business. I really got very excited about the meeting people and having an exchange of ideas and sort of a connection, right? And then I decided to think more seriously about it. And again, I was lucky. I was working at Oceana at the time when they opened the new Oceana, the big Oceana, and I was the head bartender there. And then I met this fellow that he owned a speakeasy downtown, an English fellow called Second from Clinton. You had to go through a dive bar on Clinton Street and come up to the second floor. It was like this beautiful speakeasy. It looked like an old English manor, with cases and old furniture, and old paintings and that. So he said to me, would you like to help me out and help me with the program? I know you're talented, and I hear about you, and blah blah. I said sure. So I also had a company at the time with a partner, Sarah, and we will do like gigs outside. We do like special events and parties and custom made cocktails and all that. I've got very entrepreneurial early on, and I think that's how Tony heard about me, Tony Powell. So we went there with Sarah and we started doing like one night a week. We had a gig one night a week every Sunday, and then eventually, he says take the whole place, and then we became partners. I was the managing partner, so he gave us percentage essentially. And
Awesome.
so we ran the place for about 4 years. It was a great success, really fantastic success. Very small place, no kitchen, but the place was packed and very well received. Got amazing press and all that. And then in 2015, Tony owned the building. Tony got very tired of the whole business and decided to sell the building to a new landlord.
Okay.
And we tried to negotiate with the landlord. We used to pay like $5,000 rent at the time. And the landlord said, "So I want 15." I said, "What?" Like 35 seats. I says, "Well, we're going to pay 50." So we tried to negotiate. It went down to 12. He was really hardcore. So we decided to close the place. At the time, me and Simon decided to buy an apartment up here, and then I thought, it'd be nice to have something near home, and we decided to start, open Sugarman, and that's how Sugarman came to life.
That's awesome. And you just said you just celebrated 6 years.
6 years, yes.
Fucking awesome. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that, yeah.
That is
Cheers.
very much awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a fucking awesome origin story, so cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Question 2, drink 2, what are we drinking?
We're drinking the Queen of the Desert,
Okay.
which is our most popular cocktail. Since day one, actually, it's been very, very popular.
Nice.
It's essentially a margarita.
Okay.
It's reposado tequila infused with habanero peppers.
Oh, very nice.
And then there is one of our liqueurs that we make at the distillery. It's lemon verbena. There is fresh pineapple. There is fresh cucumber. We use the Persian cucumbers, sweeter, cucumbers. And then there is elderflower and obviously lime. There's also yuzu. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
So thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, Tim. Fun, huh?
Wow, that is really good. That is,
And it's not too sweet.
No, that's...
yeah. But it has a lot of fun flavors.
Yeah.
Layered.
That is... Yeah, this is like one of those, you see it come out kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just from the garden. Oh. That's gorgeous. That is
Thank you.
absolutely.
It's a fun cocktail,
Yeah.
and so can never take it off the menu because it's so. We try to modify it now. We're going to change a little bit the look, the appearance. Maybe with the foam on top of it.
Okay.
You can put foam. We're working on on R&D, for the new menu for September. So
Sure.
we're trying to keep some cocktails that are very, very popular, but at the same time, change the visuals a little bit and
Awesome.
the texture of sorts. So anyway, it's been 6 years, and it's been actually a good call for us to open this little park here.
Nice.
It's been very well received by the neighborhood. We have really some very loyal, guests in the neighborhood that they come, and they've been very supportive of us. And of course, destination place as well. Very, it's been really a popular destination. We've had great success with this park.
I mean, as usual, it's just fun and gorgeous, and it's just like this is just
Thank you.
You're gonna have to come back. But all right, well, question 2.
Yes.
I mean, you've again bartender, alchemist, artist.
Mm-hmm.
How do you describe what you do?
I'm a creative person, I'm very passionate about, whatever I do. I like to dwell fully the experience and, embrace every aspect of it. I'm a manic. Sometimes it's very, compulsive, and it's sometimes very hard for my staff too because I'm really hardcore.
Sure.
But I think in the end they appreciate, my passion and my commitment, But I would say, I'm a creative, and as I mentioned before, I think there is a lot of artistic merit to the craft. For me, it's liquid art, and it is my new art now. I mean, I don't really have time to do any of my other work. So this is how I express myself. Obviously the liqueurs and the various expressions, Amari or liqueurs or beers, all the cocktails. I mean, we have an incredible, group of people working, for us, with us. They are super talented, very, very committed. So we're very lucky in that respect. To have this amazing group of people. So now, of course, my new venture and completely consumed by it is the distillery. So we just started wholesale distribution about 3 months ago.
Okay.
We are self-distributed right now, only in Europe metropolitan area. It's going very, very well. The good thing for us is that we have a lot of connections in the field, so people know us, and that makes it a little easier, yes, to some respect. But of course, we also would like to expand beyond the boundaries of the city, so we are working towards distribution, market distribution. I cannot reveal yet, the specifics, but we are probably going to be having distribution by the end of September.
Okay, awesome.
We're going to start with the Tri-State, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, and then eventually we may expand to some big cities like Chicago, or San Francisco, or Los Angeles. So it's very, very exciting, So right now we have 6 products that we have out in the market. There are 2 Amari, the Palatine, which is our sort of Italian traditional Amaro. Not really. I mean, I use a lot of traditional Italian base components like the bitter parts, like the roots and some of the bark. But then, the aromatic components come from the world. We source from, let's say, Japan, from China, from Africa, from South America. we work with many foragers. We have sources all over the world right now, but mainly we have two foragers that we are, we have an intense relationship. One, it's here. It's a famous actually forager named is Tama Machoka1. She supplies with a lot of whimsical things from the area, also from her farm. She lives in New Jersey. She has a big farm, about 30 acres.
Okay.
So she grows a lot of things that we get walnuts from here,
and
nice. Some other herbs that she grows there. They're kind of unusual, meadow sweet and sweet honey and the likes. She's incredible. We have an amazing relationship. We've been working together for almost like 6 years now, since the beginning of.
Wow. Amazing.
Because I was introduced to her by the botanist group.
Okay.
And immediately we clicked and we developed this very strong friendship, and we collaborate really well together.
Awesome. Is it still true that you're the only one that knows the recipes?
Yes.
Full 100%?
Yes.
All right.
I'm the only one, so they know about 65-70% of the recipes, and then obviously I go afterwards and I do my magic touch.
Yeah, you're magic.
Secret. Simon does, of course, but Simon doesn't really,
Who's
coming to me then,
yes,
get some help. And then we have another forest in Greece, on the island, Icaria, that I come from. She's an ethnobotanist. So she's fascinated because she knows a lot about the history and the cultural significance of every herb, the herbs and various things that we use. You see, we call the company Ektoras Spirits. Ektoras is the mountain range on the island. It crosses the entire island. It's a big island, actually. It's very high mountain, 3,500 feet, comparatively speaking, right? And we source a lot of herbs and from the ravines of the mountain. So we call the company Ektoras Spirits in homage to my roots and my history and my family. So she sends us like pillowcases of herbs every so often, and then when we go to Icaria, which we're going to go because we're at home there, we also forage with her. Sometimes we forage ourselves. Me and Simon, and we come back with
pillowcases full of
herbs. That's funny,
Oh.
So it's a fun, fun overall.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's so cool.
And the products have been received very well, so it makes me really happy.
Well, not only do you have 6 spirits, but you also have tinctures and bitters.
Yes. We have a big library of products, about 300 plus, bark, spices, herbs, name it. So after we do the visionaries and Eaux de Liqueurs, a lot of leftover stuff that we utilize to make bitters and tinctures. So we have about almost like 30 different kinds of bitters now that we are going to put on the market very soon. And again, they're unusual. Like you have Angelica, you have Palo Santo, you have Rosa Santa, you have, besides the classic orange bitters, even that, the orange bitters, they have like 4 different kinds of oranges. You have Seville orange, you have Pergamon, you have Navellino orange, you have tangerine, and then we add some spices. So they're not really, they're pretty layered, pretty, exotic, even classic, bitters. So we make patchouli bitters and usual, vetiver. This is the new thing now.
You got the hot one too.
Exactly.
Really
the arsonist. Which is really fun.
That is probably my favorite.
It has, I think, 15 different kinds of chilies, including the hottest chili in the world, which is called scorpion chili. Very hot.
So
it's really fun. So yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you miss like again? Like I love the progression. Like artist to bartender to bar owner, but still also like you said, like this is it's just a new way of expressing myself.
Yeah.
Do you miss ever or is it just again like you said, throwing yourself into kind of the next thing? It's just part of the evolution of your journey.
I think it's part of my evolution, but at the same time, of course. When I go on a trip, I have my little sketchbook and I do like drawings and I, create little I don't know. I put my ideas about future art projects together, like installations or But my next thing now I would like to start collaborating with artists, visual artists or performers, and involve my liquid creations into some kind of collaborative, art form.
Sure, that'd be awesome.
Mixed art form that will basically be on factory, experience mixed with, music or, other visuals or, visual arts or whatever. So I work like that, and you're going to be the first one to hear about it, perhaps, but I'm working on a project coming up in November with a dear friend of mine. He's an amazing violinist from Iceland, from Reykjavik.
Oh, nice.
He's an incredible Bach interpreter. So I developed this line of Amari, there are 5 of them, inspired by partita by Johann Sebastian Bach, the Partita D minor for solo violin, and I translated every movement into an Amaro.
Very nice.
So it's a very important piece, and it is an incredible piece. Bach wrote this for the death of his wife, Maria. It's a kind of a swan song for her. My friend Cliff is coming in November. He's very busy. He's performing now all over the world. But we finally, yesterday, we finalized the day more or less around the middle of November. So he's going to come and perform the partita while people sipping, the amount that corresponds to the musical movement.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
So it's really, I'm excited about that. Right. So, some other ideas, because I work with the music, and, I created this Amaro after a cantata by Hector Berlioz, The Death of Cleopatra. It's an Amaro that is really special to me, and, I would like to also find a way to kind of create something like that. That's but this is how my mind works, and eventually, the goal is to someday, allow myself to spend more time in Greece, and this is my home country, and then perhaps I will go back slowly to also my other art, disciplines like drawings and
Yes.
other things.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome.
So, but I feel super excited and very engaged by where I'm, with my life right now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Exciting every day. I mean, I work 7 days a week. It's exhausting, of course, but at the same time, it's very gratifying.
Do you
rewarding. Yeah.
do you consider it work or is it just passion, kind of?
It's passion, but you have to deal also with some practical aspects every day.
Okay.
I mean, we employ about 50, 60 people right now. I'm micromanaging everything very much, and so on every aspect of the business. Since we have 3 businesses now, we have 2 bars and a distillery. So you have to make decisions constantly. You're the leader. You're like the person in charge. So you have to kind of like. And occasionally it gets a little hairy. It gets a little bit,
I get you.
Exactly. You get anxious. You get angry. You get, But for the most part, I think it still feels more or less, like it's an artistic endeavor to some degree, and it's very rewarding, and keeps you alive, and keeps you excited, and keeps you like, energetic.
Yeah.
You know.
That's awesome.
So I mean, I'm looking every day. Look forward to get up and go and
there you go.
And many times in the middle of the night, I'm so excited I get up in the middle of the night. I'm a very bad sleeper because I get completely in my mind thinking constantly about what will be next, what will be create projects or obviously worries me.
But
So yeah.
Awesome. Well, there we go. I think that's
cheers.
Cheers. A great question too. Question 3, drink 3. What are we drinking?
We are drinking the original sin,
Okay.
which is essentially a carbonated daiquiri
Okay.
made with privateer rum,
Okay.
the death of Marquis, it's really great rum, and then our fig leaf liqueur,
Okay.
Ektoras fig leaf liqueur. There is lime and then carbonation.
Oh, very nice.
It's not very complicated but it's I think it's refreshing, it's fun, and there's a fig. And I think Lee put some gold dust on top of it.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Cheers to us.
Cheers! It's fucking gorgeous. Oh, you fucking taste better than it looks. It looks really fucking good. So
Thank you, Tim.
That is. That's.
And it works well with the fig, huh? Rum and fig.
Yeah. Again, another combination that I would not put together.
Yeah. No, the fig leaf liqueur is very versatile. It works really in a lot of applications, from martinis to vespers to
Well, during ACV you had that.
Yes.
Your martini, like that was
exactly
fucking awesome as well.
Yeah. Thank you. So it's our most popular liqueur actually, the Sikophilos. So we do really well with the sales of Sikophilos.
That is awesome.
And it's pretty unique. And we are the first people in the US to make fig leaf liqueur.
Okay.
It took me 2 years to convince the government to allow them to use fig leaves. In Europe, it's been very popular. They use it for from teas to liqueurs to everything.
Sure.
But we did it, so it's exciting to have this product out there in the market. We call it Sikophilos.
Okay.
It means fig leaf in Greek.
Okay.
And also friend of fig.
Okay.
So we only use the leaves. So we source the leaves from Greece, from Icaria, Peloponnese. We have a source there, or from Andalusia, from Spain. And they harvest, they forest the leaves in September after they produce the figs, and they're loaded with a lot of flavor. And they dry them in the sun for about 2 to 3 weeks, and they get caramelized. And they say certain chemical reaction happens under the sun, and they develop some amazing notes of coconut, of vanilla, of white pepper a little bit. It's a really lovely ingredient to use and make a liqueur.
Question 3.
Yeah.
I mean, you talked a little bit about it, and from your BCB event, everything kind of seems to be like a very curated experience. How do you can you kind of explain your thought process on that? Because again, on how, even down to the drink, to the bar, to everything is a curated experience, and the guests leave in a certain way, and it's very intentional. Again, we saw that at BCB. You talked about it about the event that you're having with the violinist. It just seems everything is very intentional and very much a purpose. My friend Johnny, who's a pastry chef, would say that there's no such thing as a no fucking wasted garnish. You have no wasted garnish. Everything is for a reason and a purpose. Can you talk a little bit about that process in you? All the way down from guest experience to the garnish to the cocktails to you have a curated experience when you come to Bitter Monk, Sugar Monk, or even to the distillery.
Well, our motto, and I keep summarizing this, is that everything matters. I believe that very strongly. That's our core philosophy. And as an artist, yes, I believe in creating a curating experience for someone else in various ways. And obviously the important is to create a flavor that is very potent and very specific and exciting. But at the same time, the vessel is important, the garden is important, the overall lighting that surrounds the guests, the atmosphere, the art, the music, you know. And I'm a stickler for details, and I pay attention to every aspect, you know. And I have no problem of, you know, jumping into the bathroom to, you know, make sure that it's clean, or you know, clean the toilet if I need to, you know, because I want to have like an operation that is really, you know, flawless in some capacity. So, and you know, that's how my mind works. I'm very detail oriented, and I look at everything, and I pay attention to everything. And you know, that's why, you know, when I see a place that it's creates that sort of, you know, like what I mentioned, I went to handshake in Mexico City 2 weeks ago, and I experienced that. It was really wonderful to see an operation that really every detail is really well thought and curated, and you know, they're very consistent with every detail. And you know, my staff knows that, and they know where I come from, and you know what I'm expecting, and they're very, you know, willing to help out.
Nice.
You know, and also, you know, a lot of them are very creative. They understand. They have a lot of aesthetic sensibilities, and you know, a lot of artistic sensibilities. So they you know, you know what I'm asking for when, you know, I express my. So it's yeah, that's comes down to it.
Nice.
Yeah, you know.
If each one of the bars was a type of personality, what would you classify their personality as?
Sugar Monk is, as I said, it's Harlem. You know, has a lot of sultry vibes, jazzy vibes. There is musicality, and the people that come here, they carry a certain aura. We get an amazing crowd, a lot of artists, musicians, very sophisticated crowd. Also a crowd that appreciates really great craftsmanship, and you know, and they carry with them also that sort of energy that kind of blends with the space. You know, Beer Monk, it's a little different. It has this kind of meditative aspect. You know, it's has this sort of ecclesiastic, almost religious sort of aura.
I was gonna say,
you know the stained glass. You
the
know,
way it projects on the floor.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, it's like kind of like going to church.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's this kind of like spiritual aspect, and you know, and the calmness that comes in that, you know, through, you know, the light, through the overall decor. It's very comfortable. It's very intimate. And obviously, you know, you have the tasting room on the other side. People look through the window, and they get mesmerized by, you know, the offerings and the jars and the bottles and the tasting when we do tastings. And so it's a different thing. Here, people are very much into the moment, and you know, we carry, you know, products here. You can, but nobody pays attention because there's so much into. You know, it has a kind of a more intimate sort of feel. And it's very dark at night. You know, candle lighting, very, very dark. You know, people barely see each other. So they're like that.
but like you said, very intimate. Like,
very intimate. Yeah.
But like again, like I've been during the whole interview process. I've been just like slowly, quickly. Like even to the art pieces up here. To the wall. Like,
this is actually a great piece that's created by a friend of mine. You know, we have a lot of artist friends. It's specific for the space. And it has this kind of jazzy feel, you know, this you know, arrangement, expression of, you know, paintings. And then that's Marina Abramović over there, the photograph. She's an amazing artist, performance artist, and I created a cocktail years ago for her. We are friends, and she gave me that piece. So I thought it would be appropriate to have that piece. You know, it's called Light Side, Dark Side on the space, and. You know, it's very intimate and, you know, wonderful. You know, I love the crowd here. It's very consistent and very, you know, you see a lot of people that come here all the time, and now we know them. And and a lot of people from the art community of Harlem.
That's awesome. That's neat.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Well, there we go. Great. Done. Cheers.
Cheers. Leon, can we do the next one? Okay.
Question 4, drink 4. What are we drinking?
We are drinking actually the Hanky Panky.
Oh, very nice.
So a classic pre-prohibition era cocktail rather. But it is modified. It is a little bit different than the original Hanky Panky, meaning that there is no Fernet Branca.
Okay.
We use the pollinator gin,
Oh, yeah.
Claire.
Claire,
It's a very dear friend of mine.
We love her to death.
Yes, we love you to death. I know you interviewed her.
Yeah.
She's dear to me, so I love her products also, and then we use, Capano Antica vermouth, and then we use instead of the Fernet Branco, we use the Artistry Amaro.
Oh, very nice.
And also some of our orange bitters.
Oh.
And then we have this amazing nougat
Yeah.
from Zahadis in Industry City. It's orange nougat.
It's fucking awesome. That's so cool. Cheers.
Thank you, cheers. But it's fun cocktail, huh? It's I really love the Hanky Panky. It's
Yeah.
really good. So,
Now, question 4, do you have like a favorite cocktail? Like, what is your go-to cocktail?
it's probably a Negroni sort of
Okay.
thing. You
Okay.
know? Like me and every other bartender. I love everything bitter.
Sure.
Either it would be Mezcal Negroni or like regular Negroni or any variation,
Okay.
wine Negroni, etc.
Bitter the better.
Yeah, the bitter the better.
All right.
Exactly. I
All
like
right.
bitter flavors.
Very nice.
So, but I would drink everything. Just many times also, I don't really drink cocktails. I will go with, whiskey, for example.
Okay.
I love it with scotch. Depends on the mood, my mood. If, it can be a space side, it can be like, a smoky one. I like bourbon. I mean, I love agave. Every different expression of agave. Spirits. I mean, I love raicilla, sotol, obviously mezcal. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think this leads perfectly into question 4, which is like a lot of your Amaros and Amaris are like built out of like something like we read like 300 to 600 herbs and spices.
Well, we have a big library, and
Yeah.
obviously, some Amari, they have 20 ingredients, like the
Yeah.
Palatine. The Ahkenaten, which is a premium Amaro, has 50. And that is roots, bark, spices, resin, dry fruit, etc. So, obviously herbs and flowers. Yeah.
Is there an ingredient that you haven't worked with yet that you really want to? And then also, is there an ingredient that you would consider taboo and not want to work with?
There is nothing taboo for me except if you harm somebody. You don't want to harm anybody. Obviously, either it's poisonous or whatever it is, or. But bodily fluids, for example, is something that is being explored.
Sure.
Even though you have expressions of perfumes, for example, that will simulate sweat,
Sure.
or other bodily smells and things. Specifically sweat, because Diptyque in Paris is incredible, perfumery, and they make this perfume called, I think, L'Autre. It's the other, and it smells like sweat. It's so intriguing, really amazing. So yeah, that's something that, I try actually to use blood in all my cocktails.
Okay.
With Marina Abramović, because she's a performance artist, and she uses a lot of blood. She's very out there, performance artist, and she has this piece called Thomas Lips that she cut herself with a scissor, and anyways, there's a lot of self-mutilation in her work. So she asked me years ago to create a cocktail for his 60th birthday at the Guggenheim.
Okay.
for his big birthday celebration of his life, and obviously 60 was a very important year. So I went down, history in terms of the artistic, sensibilities and body of work, since ex-Yugoslavian. So I consider using ingredients from, that part of the work, clean ingredients. But then obviously I want to also have a reference to, artistic, work, and blood is a very big reference.
Okay.
So I did this for the Guggenheim. It was a big celebration. They invited about 350 people from the world, really very important people like curators and top artists, and everybody was there that night. So I worked with Marina for almost over a month on this project, and she was very excited about the blood and all that, and I was going to dehydrate blood, which makes it very safe.
Yeah.
You basically sterilize it and throw like dust,
Yeah, okay.
backed up to commune with the goddess. Marina, she's a big figure. The curators were very excited. Of course, the legal department came out and says, "Fucking no! You cannot use any body fluids, nothing." Because I thought I was going to tears.
Sure.
I had actually, I collected tear seeds. I gave him some of my onions, and she just gave me a vial of tears.
Okay, wow.
Mixed with alcohol, of course. So, but then we said no. So we ended up using some pepper powder.
Okay.
And symbolizing, the dehydrated blood,
Sure.
red peppers, and we put him in a powder since he slept for 7 nights, and then he put on the pillow to observe here, and it was partly.
Okay.
Exactly. So that was the
Alright.
artistic. But that was my first attempt to use, body fluid.
Okay.
And since then, I heard they make perfume out of.
Yeah.
One of the celebrities. So anyway, that's completely interesting, and
Okay.
as I said, you don't want to harm anybody. So
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's safe, but it is an interesting notion. At least even conceptually speaking. You know what I mean?
I think that's. Again, try everything once, right?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Again, like you said, it was safe. You dehydrated it.
Yes,
so,
completely.
Yeah.
But we try to convince them that they don't want any lawsuits and
Sure.
and it's understandable.
Yeah.
People are so freaked out about everything,
Yeah.
and
I'm Irish. Pig's blood is
exactly.
it's a morning breakfast.
Exactly.
So,
What is the difference?
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
apparently we're very close to the pigs.
Yeah,
It's in terms of our, I don't know. It's just interesting, but so that's the thing. Now, in terms of ingredients, I'm always intrigued discovering new ingredients. Like I'm into resin now because.
Ooh, I heard it through the grapevine. Raising the California sunshine.
And I use a lot of variety of resins that especially on my MR. They bring a lot of whimsical flavors. Cedar and myrrh, and various resins, mastica. There's something because a lot of those the resins also reminds you of religious ceremonies. So there is a kind of a connotation and a kind of a thing that you make in your brain that kind of you relate the flavor to some kind of a spiritual realm.
Gotcha.
And I love them for my Amaro, especially the Ahkenaten has various resins. And as you know, the Ahkenaten is inspired by the ancient Egyptians' magnification process.
Yeah.
Also by an opera by Philip Glass, Ahkenaten, that opens with the magnification scene. That intrigued me to study the process, and I soon after found out the Egyptians used basically resins and spices and herbs to manufacture that. A lot of those, they have antiseptic properties. They stop the decay of the flesh, like resins do.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Yeah, Ahkenaten is my proud.
Yeah, no, that
it's very and I did it here in the basement of this very space. It took me 9 months to perfect the recipe, but I'm very proud of this product.
Yeah.
And we get an amazing response. We've won to major awards, like the gold at the ADI, Magnet Distillers Institute International Competition, and the silver at the San Francisco Best Amaro.
Yeah, no, honestly, this is one of my favorites. Like, it literally is absolutely fantastic.
Crazy.
And like I told you before we were started filming, I had to hide it from myself because I've gone through 2 bottles of it already. So it is fucking delicious.
Thank you very much. It's a special product, I think, and it's very hard to make.
Yeah.
Very, very hard to make because it comes out of the stainless steel and it's like basically like so thick. It resembles like the bottom of the knot. And so you have to really tame it. It takes a long time to tame it, to filter it, and bring it to life. But and then obviously you lose a lot of mark in the process. So we don't produce a lot because in batch produce takes 8 months or so.
Wow, shit.
Maceration and all that. It's a long process.
Wow.
But it's a fun product.
Yeah, it's
very proud of it.
fucking like when I have friends over, they're all like, you have to try this. This is the first thing. Like it's
Crazy Ektoras.
Yeah, I know. But it's true. But like it is literally like I've not tasted anything like it.
It's pretty unique, and a lot of people actually say the same, and I'm makes me happy. My brother is cooking too, and he says, "Make sure you bring me a fucking Ahkenaten when you come to Greece." This is my little brother. I'm so proud of him.
Bring it. Yeah.
Exactly. But seriously.
Cheers. Well, again, just last question. What's next for you guys? I mean, again, 2 bars, a distillery. Like, you're killing it, which is absolutely amazing, and all the success to you because it's very fucking well deserved. What's next for you?
Well, I want to put the product out there. I want to place the product in some really great establishments, and I want people to be able to, utilize it in a nice way and see it in various expressions. It's important to me to place the product and really place the respect, and I share common sensibilities, and it's getting there. And as I said, this is an artistic endeavor for me. It's an art form for me, and I'm loving the process. And also I'm loving that people get such a response, and also I love the fact that my team, they're completely engaged and loving the whole process. So we need to, obviously be careful how we go out and about and market with these. We are going to start working with a big agency, PR agency, in September. We're still going to be working with Helen Echo.
Nice.
Past it was been amazing with us.
She's amazing.
We love Helen. She's been with us for 6 years. But now it's becoming a different sort of, a beast, the whole thing. Now we expanded to a great extent, and it's important for us to really, create a nice campaign and, put the product, out in the world.
Awesome.
So I don't know if I want to really do anything in terms of retail, anything else. I mean, I have a lot of offers, and people, they want to collaborate with me, and they want to, go places, and I'm like a little bit basta for now.
Yeah.
And when I'm getting younger, I mean, also would like to, retire and kind of like, enjoy the year of my life to some degree in Greece, perhaps.
Yeah.
We're thinking of spending time, in Greece and in Canada. Sammy's from Quebec, it's a very beautiful, place as well. We have a lot of friends up there, a lot of friends in Greece, my family, of course. So, to travel, let's sort of explore, and go back to maybe making art again in terms of like, you know.
So there we go. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Question 5, drink 5. What
This
are we
is
drinking?
the Marina Abramović, which is essentially a black Manhattan.
So pretty.
It's a part of my history.
Okay.
It's a part of my bartending history. I made this at Oriol that I mentioned before.
Yep.
And it was Gary Regan. I consider Gary as my mentor. He's been very supportive of my work for years and years and years before he passed. So he asked me and many other bartenders to create a cocktail to raise money for Katrina.
Okay.
You know, during the disaster in
Yeah.
New Orleans in the 90s, right?
Yep.
So I thought, I love New Orleans, I've been to New Orleans many times, and I thought, you know, I have to find a concept or a name or, you know, related to New Orleans, and I thought of Marina Abramović. She was a famous Creole voodoo healer.
Okay.
That she became enormously rich in New Orleans, selling like voodoo elixirs to white folks,
Okay.
a lot of plantation owners. And then she became a philanthropist. She would help the Creole population, you know, give them money and, you know. So she's a deity in New Orleans. Even now you go to St. Louis Cemetery and would say grave is, and, you know, still people go and they put like, you know, offerings and candles and, you know, various flowers and various things. So it's bourbon.
Okay.
But it's infused with pennyroyal or fliscuni, which is a mountain mint that is sourced from Icaria,
Okay.
mountain. Has a lot of healing properties. So it's a healer, if it would be appropriate. And then there is Averna, and spices, the cardamom. There's cardamom black and this is the Persian cardamom, and then green cardamom, and some orange bitters.
Oh.
And then we smoke it with apple wood.
Oh, very nice.
So cheers,
Cheers.
to Marina Abramović and to New Orleans and to us.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Fun.
That is fucking delicious.
Thank you.
Wow.
So it's nice to have the smoke, and then you have the coolness that comes in your palate from the meat, the mountain meat. So it's very, very popular. People love the drama, obviously, of the smoke, so they're mesmerized by the thing, and they always ask for it. You know, sometimes visuals are really so important.
Yeah.
People get so intrigued by visuals. And it's also, you know, one of those cocktails that it's been on the menu since day one. And it's been following me around because I made it at Oriol, then I had it at my various other, you know, positions and places. Oceana, Michael's, second for Clinical Speakeasy, and obviously now Sugar Monk. And at Bitter Monk. And at Bitter Monk we use our Ahkenaten Amaro and some, you know, the fig liqueur, you know, we try to modify it a little bit, it's a little different. So,
Gorgeous.
cheers, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. So,
Alright, so, question 5. Comes down to flip the Whiskey Wednesday coin. You can flip it, you can spin it, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
The coin will give us the answer. You don't really have to answer, but please, like, if you feel so inclined to answer, it's totally up to you. But question 5 actually comes from a post that you did on Wednesday night while you were out in Tails.
yeah.
So, if you and Simon are behind the bar pouring drinks, are we down for a good time?
I think we are. Oh, at least it seems like it. People went wild.
I was looking for a new question 5, and I was like, you know what? That seems like perfect. So, like,
It was, you know, I haven't bartended in years and years, maybe 8 years, maybe 10 years. It's been a long time. I mean, I create cocktails, I never really, you know.
Yeah, poured them, yeah.
And I don't consider myself a great bartender. I consider myself, you know, I mean, there's some amazing bartenders. Some of my bartenders are like, flipping things up, you know, on the fucking ass, like amazing. You know, I'm a creator. You know, I like to create. I have, you know, the concepts, and I like to create flavors.
Yeah.
I'm very good at that. But you know, but anyway, it was fun to go behind the bar and start, like, you know, making hanky pankies and vespers. And Simon, you know, he's never been a bartender.
Right.
Actually, he was a bartender in London when he was 19 years old.
Okay, awesome.
Sam has a very interesting life.
Yeah,
He's
well,
like-
that article that you
Yeah, exactly.
like
in
that
New
was-
York,
yeah.
he was acting exactly, being
Yeah.
a server at
Yeah.
103, and then of course in London, he was running this gay bar, leather bar in London,
Yeah.
19. So anyway, so he made Vespers and I made the Hanky Panky. And people were wow.
Yeah.
So I guess yes.
Yes.
We had fun.
Yeah,
We
see,
had
that's the best part. I was like, you know what?
Exactly.
That's the stupid question end of the night. It's the
Yeah.
perfect question end for the night. So
Yeah.
there we go. That is
Yeah.
5 drinks down, 5 questions answered. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
I
much.
really appreciate you joining us and inviting us here. Like, this has been amazing at Sugar Monk. So thank you so much.
And I appreciate you. And thank you
No,
for
thank
inviting
you.
me to your podcast.
God,
And I'm very honored. And
thank you so
thank
much.
you so much.
So-
Shall I do this?
I mean, we already know the answer. Like, that's,
Oh, we know the answer, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, keep the coin.
Yeah,
It's a
keep
beautiful
going.
coin.
Yeah, please.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Cheers to that.
Until we can drink together again.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you.